the absolute state of Battlefield content creation right now. For all of its faults, Battlefield 2042 isn't all bad, and there's some gems to be found here in this pile of stuff. While I maintain that 2042 definitely lacked a cohesive vision and direction in really many other things, that's not to say that it didn't have some decent to even great ideas in it. In this video, I discuss the features, gameplay elements, and other aspects from Battlefield 2042 that I would honestly love to see return in future Battlefield titles. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's begin in no particular order. First and foremost, the most important thing that should and has to return in the next Battlefield are the special dynamic weather effects. Remember the hype for 2042 on announcement when the tornado was revealed and the future setting regarding massive devastating weather effects was introduced? Well, that kind of never panned out, as disappointingly we didn't see massive earthquakes or floods or snowstorms or really anything that changed the landscape of the battlefield other than the tornado. It's like they had the idea to do these Levolution style big dynamic weather events, but then just ran out of time or ideas after coming up with the tornado. But as disappointing as its implementation was, I still think this idea has a ton of merit and could create some truly epic Battlefield moments. Levolution was pretty cool in Battlefield 4, but also kind of gimmicky and rarely changed the battle that much. I'd love to see dynamic weather events or map events return that actually shape and change the battlefield mid-round, creating new types of engagement or opening up new flanking routes or even creating new control points. There's tons of potential here, and I'd love to see a return of this evolution of Levolution. While there is also potential for it to be cheesy or annoying to deal with, I think there's a good balance to be struck here, so let's not throw the tornado in the trash completely. However, all that being said, I would be really surprised if the next Battlefield shared the setting of 2042 with its climate change disasters, so it remains to be seen if this is a feature that will be coming back. The Weapon Plus system. The Plus system, like pretty much everything else in 2042, is something that had huge potential but just missed the mark in many ways. I know it wasn't received super well, but I honestly like the idea of a Plus system. I know it kind of also diffuses some of the choices in your loadout and promotes a more lone wolf style gameplay, but I think with some tweaks it could actually be pretty awesome in the right kind of Battlefield game. Now in 2042 I actually don't use it a whole lot, but if it did return in some form in another title, I wouldn't be upset. I'd like to see the addition of animations specific to the accessories, however, and the attachments being swapped out. I understand this requires a lot more work, but DICE is a AAA studio, and this is the type of quality we should expect from them. With the animations, I would of course increase the time it takes to actually swap attachments, and probably limit the amount you could carry much more. What this could create is some pretty cool and honestly badass moments where maybe you have a long-range DMR, and you can quickly switch and detach the scope and bipod for some close-range options. Again, I think it would require significant tweaking to not only be useful and fun as a gameplay mechanic, but balanced and plausible. And this system would really only work in a modern or futuristic setting, but if they end up doing maybe Battlefield 1812 or something, you could use the Plus system to fix bayonets. I mean, how badass would that be? Control game mode. Control, you left us too soon. This special event game mode introduced and now gone from the, I think it was called the Archangel Directive, the mid-season 5 event. Control was honestly an extremely fun new twist on some classic Battlefield game mode elements. It was basically King of the Hill or Conquest Small, featuring at the start multiple capture points with limited score potential that when exhausted disappeared and new points were introduced in the map. The total number of capture points lessened as the game went on, finally culminating in a single point that turned into pure chaos as both teams fought tug-of-war style over it. Vehicles could also be called in but cost points to actually spawn, much like Battlefront 2. Now it unfortunately didn't fundamentally change the gameplay of 2042, which I still dislike in many ways. It did, however, focus the action and seemed more infantry heavy, and I actually found it really enjoyable. It combines so many great elements of Conquest, but in a much smaller and tighter scope, and I love the idea of rotating points. So it never felt stale like you were fighting in the same area the entire round. A really cool idea, executed pretty well. I honestly would love to see Control return as a staple game mode in the next title, with maybe some tweaks to vehicle costs and spawns. Unfortunately, given the horrific balance of vehicles in 2042, many rounds of Control turned into stomps, but I'd hate to see them toss this mode out completely, never to return. Vehicle call-ins. Another feature I'd like to see return is the idea of the vehicle call-in system. While I know we all love our cardio and running endlessly seamlessly to the next point or to the action in a Battlefield game, the ability to call in a transport as needed and if available was actually extremely useful in 2042. Again, like everything else, its implementation, however, was heavily flawed, with players learning to call vehicles onto rooftops, resulting in players opening the elevator doors to a high-rise and being greeted with the barrel of a main battle tank on the roof somehow. That being said, I would probably tweak the call-in system quite a bit and actually adapt to what I've touted for a while now, squad rewards and squad points. Not unlike the system in Control, but squad-based. While small transport vehicles might always be available for free, maybe tie more powerful vehicles or support items to squad points. Anyone on the squad can still call them in, and working as a squad gains you more points. That way it adapts two existing systems to create synergy, that of the vehicle call-in system of 2042, and the reinforcements of Battlefield 5. Of course, the setting would dictate exactly how the vehicle would be called in, but imagine a blimp-dropped tank in Battlefield 1-2, for example. The possibilities for this system are promising for sure. The explosions. I would never be the first to call Battlefield 2042 the best looking Battlefield game. Despite its more advanced tech and technically better graphics, the art design, aesthetic, overall style just really bring it down for me. That being said, 2042 features some of the most impressive explosions I've seen in a video game, so I'd love to see this tech brought into future titles with, of course, an improved level of atmosphere, immersion, and overall grittiness. Not much more to say here, me just like big boom.
Zero hesitation. This is who Wolf is. He used you, but you're not the first. We need to get moving, but we can't return to your ship. Not while Wolf thinks you're dead. We go by land. Kaju can give us safe passage to the port. Yallah.
Portal. Lastly, one of the most exciting ideas of 2042 was the idea of Battlefield Portal. I was unbelievably hyped for Portal, the idea of having an almost greatest hits collection of Battlefield games, maps, weapons, vehicles, all in one package that could be totally customized and community driven had unreal potential. Sadly, the lack of meaningful support, the frankly embarrassing lack of additional content, the bugs and other issues including 2042 just being so poorly received in general, pretty much killed Portal right out of the gate. And today I honestly don't know what game modes even exist on it, outside of that strange Afghanistan war sim server people seem to like so much. So while Portal was a disappointing and utter failure, I still think there's a lot of potential and a lot of meat on this bone. A lot of room in the market for a standalone Portal experience for the Battlefield series, but one that's given the time and care necessary to really elevate it and make it something special with more included games, more polish, improved gameplay, animations, and graphics. It really could be the full Battlefield package. I'd absolutely love to see a Portal 2.0 or Portal revamped, but I'm not exactly holding my breath.
That's the sound of the going bang bang.
And that's about it. I can't really think of anything else from 2042 I'd like to see return, but if you have some thoughts or ideas, let me know in the comments below. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.